What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Snug Wrestling Podcast. My name is Edgar. I am the host of this thing. Tonight, we're going to be going over Monday Night Raw from Milwaukee. And the Snug crew is here, Mr. Blood and Tommy. And we were just talking about Wrestlepalooza because a lot of stuff that we saw today has to do with Wrestlepalooza. But the big question is, how the fuck are we going to watch that show this weekend? Oh man, there's so much. They're making it really hard for us to watch this fucking thing now, aren't they?
Well, it'll be next weekend, but on the 20th. But
That's right.
It's aggravating because they keep switching deals, keep switching providers everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fucking annoying, especially as a fan of WWE. If they're not on USA, they're on Fox. They're not on Fox or on CW. Oh, now it's not on CW. Now it's on USA. Oh, but only 2 shows are on USA. But if you want to watch like Speed or any of this other shit, oh, that's on YouTube. Oh, but if you want to watch Raw, that's on Netflix. But if you want to watch PLEs, that's on Peacock. But if you want to watch Saturday Night's Main Event, that's between NBC and Peacock. Oh, no, it's not on NBC anymore. Okay, now it's just on Peacock. Now, but this one specific event, the fucking last time John Cena fights Brock Lesnar, and the first match of AJ Lee back in over 10 years, you want to watch it, you've got to subscribe to the ESPN, unless you already have them. So how much is that going to cost? Oh, and you're only subscribing to them for the one-off show because it's the only one they're putting on ESPN this year as a test to see how it works next year, which you will have to subscribe $30 a month to unless you already have it, or you can get a VPN. Oh, but you get a VPN, that's great. So your VPN means you have to watch a show either on your phone or on your laptop, or if you have a family, now you've got to go through the fucking annoyance of trying to get it to screen mirror or cast into your TV, which not everybody has the luxury of an access to a fucking smart TV that allows fucking Chromecasting or screencasting or screen mirroring. And it's just like, why are you doing this? Greed, bro. It's annoying.
Money. Yeah, I still haven't figured out how I'm gonna actually watch Wrestlepalooza yet because I read somewhere, and I'm hoping that this is true, that if you have YouTube TV, that means that comes included already. ESPN comes included already with that YouTube TV, which, by the way, I pay I want to say close to $90 a month for that thing. So I'm hoping with all that money that I'm paying for YouTube TV that I can watch ESPN or have access for ESPN, and I'm able to watch Wrestlepalooza at no extra cost. Because then that would mean I would have to pay $120 a month just to watch the WWE PLEs, which is, I mean, I love the WWE, but that's fucking insane.
Well, on top of the fact that you got to also think that, let's say you do have a VPN, right? Fuck it. Let's say that you're a broke college kid and you don't have a flat screen in your dorm, but you love WWE. And you got to sit through watching. You got to pay $30 a month that most college kids barely have that extra kind of expenditure for. Or you do a VPN. So you still got to pay for a VPN. Some are cheap, some are not. You still have to stare at your cell phone for 3 hours, or you have to use your laptop for 3 hours. But what if you wanted your friends to watch it? You got to crowd around a fucking 12 and a half inch, 13-inch screen for 3 hours. And that's going to be every single show next year. Like, WWE acts like its fans have endless fucking pockets. And it reminds me of when that one fan was meeting Randy Orton and told Randy Orton how much they had paid to be there to meet him, how excited they were. They're like, man, I spent this much to see because I was so excited. And when Randy found out how much the guy spent, Randy apologized to the fan and said, I got to admit, that's embarrassing.
Tommy, what were you saying earlier about the contract deal? How long is it going to be?
Unfortunately, it's a 5-year deal that is supposed to be starting next week, but all of a sudden Triple H is like, well, no, that's not happening. We're starting in September.
Well, I think you just tripped yourself up. You said starting next week, and then you said, nope, we're starting in September. What Tommy meant to say was it's beginning next year when their deal with Peacock ends. However, they're doing a trial run with Wrestlepalooza next week on the 20th. So it's essentially just them testing the waters, see how the platform works, see how many people they can get to subscribe to it ahead of time. But here's the thing, right? That deal doesn't end till I believe February. So with Peacock. So that means you're trying to get hundreds of thousands of subscribers for one fucking event 4 months before the actual deal takes place. Fuck you. Like, so what? You think a bunch of people are just gonna be like, sure, between September, October, November, December, then January, okay, they're gonna pay like, what is that? 30, 60, 90, 120, 150 fucking dollars to watch PLEs between now and February? It's fucking nuts. We were just paying $7.99 on Peacock for years. And before that, $9.99 with fucking WWE Network.
Yeah, it was kind of a steal, like only paying like $8 for Peacock. I was like, oh, this is awesome, but I'm not surprised that they're doing this instead and upping the prices with ESPN. It was only a matter of time, I think, but
it was a matter of time. But $30 is that, in my opinion, like we're in a recession. Okay, the whole country's in a recession. That is literally you trying to squeeze every last dollar out of your fans. And it's not even WWE doing it. It's TKO that's commissioning these deals. So for me, I'm just like, dude, I know that there are fans that are ride or die no matter what. They will always watch WWE. They will always shell out their life savings for WWE. But there is a large portion of your audience that you are going to turn away because you're pricing them out of the WWE experience. This is a recession. I just went to the store yesterday, okay? And I'm a toy collector, as y'all know. Y'all know me. Figures that I love to buy a year ago were $19.99, are now $26.49 on the shelf at Target yesterday. That's a big increase. That's a toy. Now you're talking about broadcast TV, streaming rights, all this other crap. You guys have to provide more product to justify that price. And I don't mean by oversaturating the fucking US market and the PLE market by giving us fucking 5 Saturday nights main events a year and then throwing 2 fucking PLEs in on a month. So this whole last summer was a clusterfuck of shit, which was annoying to do and deal with. It was too much, WWE, let's be honest. Aside from the weekly programming, I'm saying people want to watch WWE. A lot of WWE fans don't give a fuck about anything else on ESPN. So why are you charging $30? There should be a separate tier for the people who want to watch sports entertainment or the people who want to watch sports.
Yeah, because even in Peacock, man, like I was paying $8 for Peacock and I was watching everything on there, the shows, the movies, the sports, and the WWE.
Real deal. A real deal. So you got the entire WWE library and then everything else Peacock had.
Here's what drives me crazy, though. Apparently, what's happening is all of the main PLEs are going over to ESPN, but Saturday night's main event is the only show that will be staying on Peacock.
Yes, it is. And that's because they made a deal with NBC when they made that agreement. So NBC is keeping Saturday night's main event until, I believe, if I remember correctly, I reported this a week and a half ago, till 2027. Peacock will remain with Saturday night's main event. However, they did end their agreement for broadcasting it live simulcast on NBC and Peacock because the viewership on NBC was not what NBC thought WWE had promised them. So they have excluded it only to the Peacock app. So if there's some big ass event we want to watch, guys, we've still got to keep our fucking $8 subscription to Peacock for 4 Saturday night main events a year.
Oh my god.
Are you seeing what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fucking wild. And why are we complaining about this again? Because we've been talking about this for a while now, but shit is getting real now because Wrestlepalooza is next weekend. It's right around the corner. And it's now like reality is striking us right now. Like it's time now to either, jump on that $30 fucking ESPN subscription or get a VPN or find out what we're going to do. And I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm just
so far the card at Saturday night's main event. Let's be honest here, guys. It's a 2-match card. People are there to see John Cena versus fucking Brock, and they are there to see CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. The third most important on the match, the Women's World Championship match. But I don't see people going, you know what? I would shell out $30 just to watch a possibly 12-minute match between Lyra Valkyria and Io Sky with some bullshit from the fucking Kabuki Warriors. No, they're there for those
Also,
two matches.
The Usos versus the Brusos.
Exactly. And we've already been seeing that feud for a while. I don't see people being, yeah, I'll pay $30 to see that. No, that's the problem here. It's a 2-match card. So you're paying like $30, or you got to go through the trouble of finding out a way to circumvent that for what is essentially a 2-match card, which means Brock Lesnar, wash, rinse, repeat, spam and suplexes, boring as fuck. John cannot have the great match that he's been having with Cody and with Sammy as of late, and Logan with Brock Lesnar. How do I know that? Because we've seen 2 of those matches before years ago, and they're not young anymore. So as far as it's concerned, it's like, really, you're going to get to see a mixed tag match with some shenanigans. That's cool. But other than that, this does not justify $30.
No, you're right.
When you get WrestleMania 2 nights for $7.99.
That's true.
Unfortunately, we all know why all of this is happening. It's because TKO loves Shane McMahon's theme song, money, 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 money.
Oh, it's not that,
That's
buddy.
it.
The real reason that they are doing all this price gouging as of the last year and a half is because TKO is in debt. $3 billion in debt, specifically because of their acquisition of UFC. And UFC is the actual anchor and the noose around WWE's neck. So it is literally robbing Peter, WWE, to pay off Paul, UFC.
Well, let's get back on the topic here at hand. Monday Night Raw, and it's building up to Wrestlepalooza next weekend. So we have one more SmackDown. No, actually, one more Raw and 2 more SmackDowns before Wrestlepalooza. And we got more matches added to Wrestlepalooza tonight. But overall, Monday Night Raw tonight was, especially if we compare it to last week's Friday Night SmackDown, this episode of Monday Night Raw, even with having the AJ Lee return on Raw after 10 years for the very first time, and, you know, we had a bunch of matches, more than usual. I think we had like at least 4 matches. This Raw felt really slow. It felt like it dragged. How were you guys feeling this week's Raw overall, despite everything that happened tonight?
I'm not going to lie to you, man. I was really high coming into this Raw. Like, I was riding a real high coming into this Raw because I was extremely excited. The only thing I gave a shit about on this show was AJ Lee and Punk and that story, and whatever was going on with LA Knight and Jay, because that's been the most, in my opinion, the best things on Raw the last handful of weeks, ever since they've handcuffed fucking Penta to the New Day bullshit. So because Penta was a highlight, and he remains to be a highlight in ring, but story-wise, they've been fucking him for like a month and a half, almost 2 months, right? So as far as it was going, I was extremely excited. And I found myself, bro, by like mid-show, like having to constantly keep moving on my couch because I kept yawning. And I was like, I'm going to fall asleep. I was bored. I was actually bored tonight. And we're going to get into it with the AJ Punk segment and everything. I loved that segment. And even while watching it, I, at a point, was like, this is taking too long, man. This show is taking too long. I literally was like, you could have cut the AJ segment 5 minutes short. And I hate saying that because I loved seeing her. I loved seeing Punk. I loved seeing her and Becky and Seth. I loved the whole segment, start to finish. I did. But I can love something and wish this shit was shorter. I can love something and wish it was longer. Avengers Endgame, you could have given me another half hour and I would have sat in that theater, and it was already 3 hours and 3 minutes. This, loved it to death. Could have shaved off 5 minutes.
Tommy, what about you? Overall thoughts on Raw before we get into it?
Raw was Raw. Like, I honestly wish that it was shorter. I feel the same way that Blood does. This whole thing was just, it felt way too long. There are certain spots where I'm just like, you could have taken this entire thing out easily. Yeah. And it would not cause any issues whatsoever.
Which is crazy because it was the normal 2.5 hour show. But there was something off about I don't know how you have the same length show every week, but for some reason, some weeks feel like the pacing is off. And I don't know why. I legit was like, how many matches do we have tonight?
Like, and some matches, I feel like a couple of matches were added like last minute. They were unannounced and they just happened on the spot.
I felt that too. It felt like they tried to give us a bunch of first timer matches tonight, and I was just like, "That's really cool." But how come all the first time one-on-ones we're seeing nobody asked for? Yeah. I was not clamoring for Penta versus Rusev for 11 minutes.
Right. Well, let's get into it, you guys. It started off with Jey Uso yeeting in the arena, and the fans are always happy when that happens. But Jey Uso didn't come alone. He had his brother, Jimmy Uso, and the Usos are back together. The little caption where it says the wrestler's name said the Usos. So that was a good moment to see the Usos back, and they're coming back to tag team together versus what did Jey Uso call them? The Brusos, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. And they made their match official for Wrestlepalooza, so that match was also added to the next PLE tonight. But I thought this was a great segment. It was cool to see the Usos back together. Not a bad way to kick off Monday Night Raw. And we also got to hear more of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed cut promos, although Braun Breaker's promos seemed like, I don't know if he forgot his lines, but Braun Breaker, after a while, I think he just gave up. And you know what? He said, fuck it. Oh, I'm so mad that you guys hurt Paul Heyman. Oh. And then, yeah, typical Braun Breaker stuff. But what did you guys think about the opening segment?
I think it worked. I do feel like the Usos being back together, it's always nice to see. They do have insane twin chemistry together. I love that finishing each other's promos thing they always used to do. The good thing is that I do believe that this is temporary. It's probably only going to last long enough for them to get through War Games, and then they're going to split again, which is great because since they shuffled Sammy over to SmackDown and we now know why, it feels like they needed someone else to take Sammy's place on the Raw side of this story. So they were like, well, let's put Jimmy in there because holla, holla, I smell a tag match player at War Games against The Undertaker. Oh, wait, sorry, wrong show. And literally, all I could think was, okay, this is where I started noticing the show was having issues. It was a smaller venue, much smaller. The stage to the ramp and the ring, very short. So I knew sometimes, like, if you've watched WWE long enough, based on like the way that they set up the arena, the shows, the layout, sometimes you can just tell they're planning on having it be a very grounded show. You're not going to see anything crazy psychotic happening. And I've noticed that over the many years I've been a fan. When I saw how short that ramp was tonight, the first thing I thought was, oh, this one's going to be a paced show, isn't it? A very slowly paced show. Because I'm like, there's no giant this or that, the pomp and circumstance, it's Milwaukee, like this isn't like they were in Chicago on Friday or, they weren't in Paris at the Defense Arena. Like, I thought the promos were fine. I love that, again, Bronson's talking more. Braun Breaker definitely felt like he skipped a beat in his promo. Jay almost fumbled over his. And it's just like, okay. Then you get the stuff with LA Knight. Always great to see. The miscommunication with LA and Jay, which sets up the story beats for later in the evening. But I felt like Jay's anger at LA Knight was a big miss for me. It felt completely undeserved. What did Jay expect him to do? Stand there so they both get body splash and so another grown man's body gets slammed into his from another grown man's body? What did you want, Jay? Do you want to get body pressed by one fucking guy or the combined weight of two guys? LA Knight jumped out of the way like he should. He protected himself. You expect him to stand there and get hit on purpose?
Mhm.
So for you to be angry at him, like he left you and hung you out to dry, dude, it happened in a split second, bro. You're not the Flash, because you would have zipped out right behind him, bro. There was no room for both of you to move at the same time. There was no time. So that was a problem for me, because it sets up what happens at the end of the show, which we'll get into. But I felt like the justification did not make sense for Jay based on how quickly that actual part of the ending segment took place.
Mhm.
I'm on LA's side with this one, and I really thought I'd be on Jay's. But when we get to the ending segment, I'm going to talk about what I think they're doing here. But at the same time, I think this does not, in my opinion, give Jay proper character motivation for the way he behaved later on in the night.
Yeah, Jay's stuff was confusing on what the hell his reaction was. Like, it was very confusing on why he did it, because it didn't make sense. Knight did what Knight had to do. So I look at this, I'm like, Jay, I love you, man. But no, you're wrong here. Knight did what he had to do, and there was no other option for him. It was either that or get squashed between you and him. There was no other option. And I'm not sure if we're going to get to it, but there's a little backstage segment that happened later on in the show with Jimmy. I completely agree with what Jimmy Uso said during it, because it's true. Jay is starting to sound more like Roman, which is honestly sad to hear, because of the fact that Roman and the way he was is the exact thing that Jay doesn't want to be. And the issue now is he's starting to become that, which is like the worst possible thing for him right now.
Yeah, LA Knight definitely seems like the one that's actually thinking straight here, because he even told Jimmy Uso at one point tonight, he was like, look, man, I can't trust y'all. When I face Roman Reigns, Jimmy, you were the reason why I lost. You helped Roman Reigns, and I lost that opportunity. And then at Clash in Paris, Jay Uso was the reason why I didn't win. So how am I supposed to trust you guys? But yeah, this whole thing with LA Knight and Jay Uso, to me, turned out to be the most interesting thing in this whole entire episode of Monday Night Raw. And even with the way that it was set up, Blood, you have a great point. It's like, if LA Knight was able to get out of the way when he was in that when he was in that corner, so did Jay Uso. So, but now you're mad. Jay is mad because he got hit by Bronson Reed, but somehow that's LA Knight's fault. Like, come on, bro. I know there's just a lot of holes there, in my opinion.
Yeah, LA can't move for the both of you. You know, like,
yeah. But that was the opening segment, which led to the first opening match was El Grande Americano versus AJ Styles. And AJ Styles, he has a lot of anger towards El Grande Americano, because he's the reason AJ Styles is not Intercontinental Champion. So the match started off high. AJ Styles was all over El Grande Americano. And even with help, we saw the second El Grande Americano show up. AJ Styles was still able to pick up the win. And oddly enough, he had a promo after this match too, which we'll get into. But what did you guys think about this match with AJ and El Grande?
Again, back to the pacing issue with this evening. Until you just said it, I completely forgot this match was even on the show. And I watched the whole thing. It feels like the beginning of the show, I don't know why, feels like, to me, it was such a long-winded show the moment you said that match, my brain incorrectly thought that match happened last week. For a split second. The match was fine. It told the story of targeting AJ's I think it was more about how he had injured his knee when he smacked into the stairs, when he got Irish whipped into the stairs. So it was about whether or not he could kind of fight through the pain and the aches and the bruising and still eke out a win, even with El Grande trying to cheat. Now, I love Ludwig as El Grande. Hell, at this point, I'm starting to think he's a better El Grande than Chad Gable was. And I'm hoping that whatever merch he's selling, maybe they're splitting a 50-50, because I'd be mad as fuck if I'm covering the character for Chad Gable, but all my merch sales is going to a nigga on the shelf. So, as far as I'm concerned, Ludwig is knocking this out of the park. I still do wish they would let him drop this and be Ludwig again. There is that part of me, because there was so much untapped potential out of Ludwig Kaiser. And I'm hoping they let him drop it when Chad comes back. I really want him to drop it when Chad comes back. I want more of the Ludwig character. The match was fine. After weeks of not seeing it, they reinsert another El Grande back in the mix, this Doink the Clown ass fucking gimmick. And at least it wasn't like 3 of them this time. It was like, oh, here's just an extra guy. I think it was fine. AJ won. That's cool. Then they said that El Grande had going into this match, El Grande was undefeated on Raw, 5 matches. I'm like, didn't Chad lose? Are they counting Chad's fucking wins for this El Grande? Because this El Grande has not won 5 single matches on Monday Night Raw. He just hadn't. He's done more interfering than he has wrestling. So as far as it goes, it was a fine opener, but it did definitely begin that downtrodden, this is going to be a slog to get through feeling I had during the show. Because though I liked the match, I didn't care about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't either. As soon as that other El Grande showed up, I'm like, I thought we were over this. Why? I legitimately thought that we were over the mini Americanos. Like, why did this random one show up again? But I do agree that overall, this whole thing, it absolutely should have been what it was. It was a match that existed. It was slow, unfortunately. But this whole thing, I look at it, I'm like, okay, all right, it's going to be fun. It's going to be slow, unfortunately. But it was an interesting match in itself. I didn't really care about it. So, yeah. But the whole El Grande Americano 5-match thing, I'm pretty sure this version of El Grande Americano hasn't even had 5 matches. So, that makes no damn sense.
Man, and you guys like to say that I'm like the sourpuss that doesn't like to have fun in wrestling and all that shit. I'm enjoying the hell out of these whole like secret Grande Americanos showing up randomly, because I'm hoping that one day we will find out who these people are under those masks, and hopefully they actually do something with that.
I would enjoy it more if they didn't stop and start it.
But I'm like, most of these matches that we saw tonight, except for the main event and the Nikki Bella and Asuka match. So we saw this match, Grande Americano and AJ Styles. I think this has to do with what we might see at Worlds Collide, because Dominic Mysterio is going to be there. Wherever Dom is, so is the Grande Americano, apparently the past couple of weeks. AJ Styles still, he's still bitter after losing to Dom. So I think this match was put here on this episode of Raw for Worlds Collide, to hype up Worlds Collide, which is in a few days. So in that sense, having this match to me made sense, and it was a good match. They're both good workers, and AJ Styles got the win. But I want to talk about what AJ Styles said after the match. Normally, Mr. Blood, I would ask you about this, because you usually don't have the Netflix with the ads, but you weren't able to see it this time. So I just want to read Well, AJ Styles said after this match, because I thought it was really interesting, and I want to hear what you guys thought about this. So AJ Styles, after his match in the commercial break for Netflix, he said, "For the first time in my career, I've got no one watching my back. Gallows, Anderson, they're not here. Meechin is on SmackDown. It's like someone orchestrated a way for me not to win anymore. I'll I'll let you make your own conclusions, by the way. We are here live all over the world, and for everybody else in a commercial break, I'm gonna tell you something you are not supposed to hear, but somebody doesn't want me here. So what we're gonna do is you're going to beat the piss out of El Grande Americano tonight, so the person that doesn't want me here can feel some of his pain and mine also." What the hell do you guys think that was about?
That's confusing. I don't know if that's like a shoot mixed with kayfabe, because we all know that specifically in real life, the only person in management that AJ actually has a legitimate beef with is Paul Heyman, because the first time Gallows and Anderson were let go from WWE several years ago, it was apparently Paul Heyman's choice because he's the one who came up with the list of releases, because that's part of his job backstage. His legitimate actual job off camera is, helping with talent relations, things like that. And, he has a real, actual, legit problem with Paul Heyman in real life. He actually went on a podcast and berated Paul Heyman, saying that he fired, AJ's friends. But that being stated, I mean, the club hasn't been together in well over a year. So I don't know how anybody's orchestrating you to be separated from somebody, because, when you were randomly a fucking heel last year for 2 months so you could feud with AJ Styles, you were on SmackDown. Or sorry, with Cody Rhodes, you were on SmackDown. Then you got injured. Then they said, fuck the heel turn, even though we gave you all new gear, all new entrance music, all new fucking, production value, all this other crap. They dropped it as soon as he got injured. When he came back, he was a babyface, and he was on fucking Raw. So I don't know who positioned you away to take people away from you. That I can't make sense of it, honestly, because it doesn't make sense in story or in shoot.
Tommy, any thoughts?
Just the fact that, as he said, it makes no sense. The crew has not been together for a hot minute whatsoever. So the whole comment of, it feels like somebody is purposely doing this to make sure I lose. AJ, it makes no sense that you're saying that. You're bringing up the crew that has not been together since before these two were released. So it makes zero sense why the hell you're saying all of this.
Actually, if I remember correctly, when he turned heel last year, he's the one who basically dropped them. They were trying to talk sense to him backstage. I remember that now. He pushed them away. The reason Gallows and Anderson and Meechin aren't on your side anymore is when you went apeshit on Cody Rhodes, you pushed them away when they tried to reason with you. Then Meechin started using some of your moves and calling you her mentor in storyline. And then they dropped that real quick randomly when they stopped booking Meechin. And then your boys got released earlier this year. So, none of that makes sense.
Yeah, that's weird. Hopefully we get more information on that, because I'm actually interested to hear more about that and see what that was all about. All right, let's move on here to the next match, women's match. Raquel Rodriguez versus Lyra Valkyrie. I can't really complain too much about this match. Other than the fact that it was just really, really random. I was actually surprised that Raquel got the win. That's really rare to see Raquel Rodriguez pick up a win on Monday Night Raw, especially in singles competition. Because Lyra is the inaugural Women's Intercontinental Champion, I thought for sure Lyra was going to win this one. But I'm glad it was Raquel, because Raquel, I've said this over and over again, I think she's really underutilized. And I mean, she's a lot bigger than most of the women in this women's division. So I was kind of worried that they were going to beat Raquel tonight, but they didn't. Raquel won, and that's always great to see. So because of that, I this wasn't the greatest match, but I'm glad Raquel won. Is all I can say. What did you guys think about that?
Really hard to care because I haven't seen Lyra in a match in well over a month on Monday Night Raw. I don't like her character anyway because to me they've assassinated her character with the way they had mishandled her and Bailey when she made Bailey the bad guy, even though she ran in and cost Bailey the fucking championship months ago. And somehow, like, she just gaslit Bailey for like 2 straight months. So they've kind of ruined Lyra's baby face character for me because she doesn't act like a baby face at all. She even blamed Bailey for everything a few months ago and made Bailey feel like shit to where now Bailey's whole character is told to us in vignettes while she questions her fucking existence. So now we're dealing with that dumb shit because none of that to me is interesting. I think that shit's just cringe city. But I don't know, man. Like I barely give a shit about Raquel as it is. So it's kind of like matches here. I thought it was extremely sloppy and mispaced in certain places. They mistimed 3 to 4 different actual spots. Both of them did. The only thing that I thought was cool was the finish, just dragging her ass straight through the midair off the top turnbuckle into a Tahana bomb. Thought was a really cool way to wrap it up. Then I was really annoyed when we got the fucking segment with the Judgment Day in the clubhouse, and we found out that we've got to watch Roxanne have her match against Lyra next week. And I thought, oh, goody. Another match I won't give a shit. Put that on the calendar. The only good thing about Raw next week so far that they have touted is that it is 1 hour earlier. Other than that, couldn't give a toss.
Yeah, gotta agree. I could not give more of a shit, like, at all. I could not give less of a shit about this match. At all. Which is sad to say because it's fucking Raquel Rodriguez. But the problem is, Lyra's over here being more concentrated on what the hell is happening with Bailey, who is essentially turned into the 3 faces of Mick Foley at this point, instead of actually worrying about herself and getting herself into the ring and being shown more. That's my problem with Lyra, is the fact that she's so focused on Bailey that she doesn't give a shit about herself at this point, which is a problem. When it comes to Raquel, again, she's not really used as much, but then again, the entirety of the Judgment Day, except for Roxanne Perez and Dominic Mysterio, have both, like, that entire faction pretty much is underutilized at the current moment, despite the fact that they're the tag team champions. So this match I really did not care about whatsoever. It's just a match that existed, but it does feel good to actually see Roxanne Perez get a fair win.
All right. The next segment that we're going to go over was one of the most anticipated returns from AJ Lee to Monday Night Raw after many, many years. And, you know, they started off this entire show. They played the video package a couple times of when AJ Lee came back at SmackDown. And, you know, everyone's really glad that AJ Lee is back, including myself. You know, I was interested to hear what she was going to say. She comes out, she cuts her promo, and she's saying a lot of interesting things that I didn't know about, so I learned a lot. You know, she comes out here and she keeps it real, really, you know, she's really honest. Hey, you know, for those of you guys who don't know who I am, my name is AJ Lee. I'm your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. And I'm like, well, no lie there. So far, so good. And she's like, I had to go away. I didn't think I was ever going to come back. You know, I did everything I wanted in wrestling. I had to go take care of myself physically, mentally, and she was giving us the rundown, for the people that don't know her whole life story. I thought that was really good information. And then Becky Lynch comes out, and this is when it got really goofy for me, and it just got really uninteresting and just way too silly and over the top for me. And I was just like, okay, where's this going? Let's just get this over with. Seth Rollins comes out. It started off so good for me, but it was right when Becky came out that this just went downhill, and I was already ready for it to be over. But they made the announcement. It is going to be a mixed tag team match, how we all predicted and how we all expected. It's going to be at Wrestlepalooza. But was this the best way to go about this on Monday Night Raw? Was this what you guys were expecting to see? Or how did you guys feel about this segment here?
So, for those who don't know, I've already covered this on an episode of The Blood Drop, where you can ever get your podcast, Apple and Spotify. It's also available on my TikTok, on TikTok as well. But AJ Lee's contract has been revealed. She is not here for a one-off. This is not a part-time special guest appearance, a couple of matches. She, in fact, has signed a multi-year full-time contract with the WWE. This is her first match back. And I'm imagining one of the reasons that her first match back is a mixed tag match is, one, it probably is to protect her in the ring while they make sure she's ring ready again, because from what I understand, the deal came together very quickly for her to come back. So it's not like she's had tons of weeks and weeks to go back through bump and impact training and, get back to being ring ready, because there's a difference between being in shape and being in ring shape. Trust me. So I imagine that's why the mixed tag is her first. So some of the men can pick up some of the extra work, and then her and Becky can go in there and do her thing until she's comfortable again. I thought the segment started out great. Really nice seeing her connect with the audience. Hey, if you guys were wondering why your millennial parents were losing their collective minds last week, let me tell you who I am. And it's like, that's the way you do it. Reestablish who the fuck you are in this division, who the hell you were in this industry, why you were the most overact in the company for over a year, outselling even John Cena in merch. Okay. There is a reason people gravitated towards AJ Lee. And the reason you gravitate towards April Mendez or April Brooks is because she's relatable as a human being, which she did with the audience. I thought that was great. Being open about her struggles, the mental health, being an advocate for mental awareness, about it's okay to not be okay and you need to take care of yourself. I thought, what a great way to humanize her immediately on returning. She's not just a Nikki Bella popping back in because I'm the one who paved the way. No, she's like, hey, I was gone because I needed to heal myself. And now I'm back to let you know I'm healed and I'm here standing on business, but you can heal too. And you're going to watch me stand on business. Then out comes Becky with her black eye made up of very quickly applied makeup, because it's kind of hard to believe there's a black eye when there's no swelling. But that being aside from that, this is where the segment for me, like you, drags. Becky takes too long hamming it up, interacting with the crowd, interacting with fans at the barrier, to then get back to where AJ can continue her lines. AJ quickly started plodding along to make it a little faster. This is what you can do. Come in here, get this, or we can do this. We can have a match. Then we got to wait for Seth to come out and ham it up too. They've got to console each other. She's making fun of me. Do stuff. I know. Calm down. Calm down. She's in there. I'm just like, oh my fucking God. It's already been like 9 minutes. Okay. Then he finally gets in the ring. Then he's got a whole nother 2.5 minutes. He's talking to AJ. And I'm just like, who paced this shit? I literally was like, they announced like 3 matches after this, or 2 more matches for the show after this, I think, or 3 that we have to cover. And this match went on, and I thought, are they even going to end the show at fucking 10:30? Like, Jesus Christ, man. Then Punk comes out, my boy. But Jesus fucking tap dancing Christ. You could have come out 5 minutes earlier, brother. Because what I wanted to see in this to really hype it up was I wanted to see AJ put her hands on Seth. That's what I wanted to see. Her smack Seth around. Just so she could get that comeuppance and we could watch Seth feel as powerless as Punk. I thought that would have made this segment 2 levels higher.
They might save that for Wrestlepalooza.
They might save that for Wrestlepalooza, which is fine. Match is made, thank God. But we did not. And look, I love AJ. I'm not complaining that I got to see her as much as possible on this show with Punk. That all I wanted was to see both of them on Raw together, and I got that. But this segment, no matter how much I loved it, did not need to be like 17 minutes, especially when, you know, like we've had John Cena come out there and those are like 21 to a half hours for giant marquee going out matches. This did not need to be almost 20 minutes.
Yeah, it really did not need to be as long as it was. But I look at this, I'm just like, hey, AJ, congratulations, you're back. Half of us were very confused on why the fuck you had the Intercontinental title around your waist when some of us didn't see what happened off camera. So, yeah, for those of you who didn't see, she grabbed the title in the middle of the ring and started skipping around with it. That's what happened. That's what you missed. That's it. Yeah. But my biggest issue,
Becky, you only slowed this shit down.
that is my problem. Because that's all that Becky did. When she came out looking absolutely ridiculous with those massive fucking sunglasses of hers, all she did was slow this segment down even more, having a damn face-off with somebody on the barrier. Why? I get it. They were yelling at you, giving you heat. That's what they're supposed to do. Why are you randomly having a face-off with one of them? Makes no damn sense. Focus on AJ and less on whoever the hell is at the barricade. Then Rollins came out. I'm like, oh, God. All right. Do what you're going to do. Look like a fucking oven mitt while trying to get that title back from AJ. Go ahead. Then Punk came out. I'm like, okay. Yep. We all know exactly where this is going. We've known since before AJ returned that odds are this was going to be her return match. And it was going to be one hell of a one. So, overall, I cannot wait to see what happens at Wrestlepalooza. And sadly, that thing will eventually be a fucking 2-match card of matches we care about. This being one of them.
Well, you guys, the next 2 matches, I'm pretty sure were just added on the spot here during the show because I don't think these were advertised ahead of time. The first one being Penta versus Rusev, and the other one was Nikki Bella versus Asuka. Now, when it comes to Penta versus Rusev, it was unexpected. They had a stare down in a backstage segment, which I thought was really interesting because these two at one point were in AEW at the same time and they never crossed paths. But they did here in the WWE, which I thought was cool. You know, Penta, he expressed to Adam Pearce that he wants a shot at Dominic Mysterio's Intercontinental Championship. And then Rusev steps into the picture, which made me think, okay, well now Rusev might be heading to that Intercontinental title scene as well, which I think we kind of talked about, if I'm not mistaken, where we were like, well, that wouldn't make sense because Rusev's a heel, Dominic Mysterio's a heel, but I think they're going to find a way to put Rusev in that Intercontinental title picture scene, especially after how this match went down with Rusev defeating Penta. So now Rusev is picking up wins. He defeated Sheamus at Clash in Paris, and then he defeated Penta tonight. Penta he's not usually pinned a whole lot. Maybe a couple times that I can think of that Penta has actually been pinned since his entire time in the WWE. Rusev is now one of those people that has actually been able to pin Penta. Regardless of the match was underwhelming and unexpected, it's still a big win for Rusev, so that was cool to see. But this thing that they did with Penta and the New Day is also to hype up Worlds Collide. The New Day is going to be facing the AAA Tag Team Champions at Worlds Collide on Friday, and Penta is also scheduled to make a surprise appearance. So everything that they did here was basically to kill two birds with one stone. You get a win on Rusev, you get him closer to that title picture, and I'm sure we're gonna see Penta get involved in the tag team match on Friday with the New Day. But what did you guys think about Rusev versus Penta?
For the sake of time, I'm going to keep this pretty freaking quick. Look, I don't know why you are shoving Penta into a second filler feud, because if this turns into something more, which based on the way that backstage segment went with him and Adam Pearce and Rusev, I'm just like, we just got him out of the feud with the New Day, which was already fucking 3 weeks too long, and it only was a month. But as far as it's concerned, how do you put him in one filler feud? This guy had so much momentum. You are killing his momentum. I'm sorry. Don't dump him from the New Day and then dump him in with Rusev, who has no fucking heat with the audience. The audience still does not give a fuck about Rusev. So how is this supposed to help Penta? Do they think that by pairing Penta with Rusev, it's going to help the audience give a fuck about Rusev so Rusev can get more heat on Penta? So Penta can get more heat on Rusev? Because the way I'm looking at it, the audience isn't going to care because Rusev's character is just fucking boring. It's just boring. It's so weird to see a guy come in after being gone for so long, and he's only been back like 3.5 months, and he already, in my opinion, needs a repackage. The match was fine. It was what it was. And here's the thing. He needs a repackage. Neither of these guys are bad performers or wrestlers, but Rusev has got nothing worth of substance to work with, and that's not his fault. And as far as it's concerned with Penta, this man should be in the IC scene, which I feel like he's been in and out of this year continuously. But stop dumping him in fucking feuds that aren't about him going after Dominic himself. Why is he side questing? Those are my thoughts. Match was fine. Sure, it killed two birds with one stone, whatever. But if that's the case, then the only thing that mattered about this match happening was so you could have the New Day scene before AAA's Worlds Collide. And that doesn't do shit for Penta or anything for Rusev, except give Rusev a fucking win, and then Penta has to eat a fucking senseless loss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this match made absolutely no sense. In my opinion, it shouldn't even happen in the first place. This would be one of them that I would have shaved off. Literally the only reason why this was here is because of New Day with Worlds Collide, which even then didn't even connect whatsoever. Unfortunately, it seems like he's still in that mini feud with the New Day. Ugh! Xavier Woods, stop wearing your stupid hats. Other than that, this match I basically have no other thoughts on because I couldn't give less of a shit.
Well, the next match, probably less important because it was Nikki Bella versus Asuka, right? And I just can't stand Corey Graves in this whole thing. Right after, the reports came out of Wade Barrett getting some heat with Nikki Bella because Wade Barrett apparently offended Nikki Bella during her last match at Clash in Paris. And then it was reported that Wade Barrett was going to be off commentary, and people were saying, oh, it's because he was so mean to Nikki Bella. But later we found out that Wade Barrett actually had this time scheduled to be off TV for a while for vacation or whatever reason it was. But this whole time, Corey Graves was really putting over Nikki Bella throughout this match. Oh, is Asuka going to be able to defeat the Hall of Famer Nikki Bella? One day Asuka is going to be in that Hall of Fame with Nikki Bella, and just Corey Graves just glazing the shit out and doing his best to making Nikki Bella sound like a legit WWE superstar, and which is his job, but it's just like we all know who Nikki Bella is. Like, you're not gonna change our mind about how we feel about her. And the whole time I was thinking, man, if Nikki Bella actually beats Asuka, then what the fuck? There's no way Asuka's gonna recover from this, right? But Asuka tapped out Nikki Bella good. Then after the match, the camera zooms in on Nikki Bella, and Nikki Bella says, "This is not over. Just wait for my girl to come back." And I'm thinking, she said this. I like the camera picked up the audio, and I'm thinking that can only mean one thing, right? If she said this isn't over, just wait for my girl to come back. My mind automatically went to Brie Bella, and we've heard the reports that Triple H is planning to bring back more people. Is it possible that they're gonna find a way to bring back Brie Bella to team her? Do we need to see this again, the Bella twins again? I don't know. But later on, we saw Rhea Ripley step in and have Nikki Bella's back with the Kabuki Warriors. But man, I was just not expecting to see a Nikki Bella match tonight, but we did. What'd you guys think about it?
I have said this before. I will say it again. Hear me now, gods of this father fucking universe. I cannot stand Corey Graves, and I have never been able to stand Corey Graves. And they should have left this bitch ass whiny fucking man child on NXT. I got to imagine, being replaced on commentary because you're not famous enough. Because he wasn't Pat McAfee, who's wildly more entertaining than your dumb bitch ass. With your fucking, it is 2025. It is 2025. Why do you still have the world's smallest fucking pompadour? And on top of that, you suck at commentary, Corey. The only thing you're good at is barely doing analyst work because you are a former wrestler, but you are not entertaining. You are circa like Michael Cole mid fucking obnoxious heel turn 2009 commentary, where all you do is look for any rhyme or reason, even against logic, to make the heel seem like the better fucking wrestler, no matter what they do. Asuka could kick a baby in the face in the front row. You say, well, you didn't see it there. The baby looked at her funny. What? She's going to take disrespect from a baby? Is some shit I expect out of Corey Graves' fucking mouth. And the fact that I now don't have Michael Cole on Monday Night Raw to keep my sense, I had to listen to Corey Graves all night because I don't have Pat either. And he made this match even more unbearable because thank God Asuka fucking won. Nikki Bella is a WWE superstar. That is a fact, unfortunately. However, she is not a wrestler. She is a sports entertainer who happened to become an athlete. Period. If she had beaten Asuka, I would have not believed anything else they try to tell me in this story. Because the only reason the Bellas are in the Hall of Fame is because they didn't have any other women that year they could put in that would have made sense at the time. Because if that was the case, tell me why on earth Michelle McCool went into the Hall of Fame several years after the Bella Twins. You know what I'm saying? This match was stupid. Nikki Bella being involved in stories like this is dumb. It's literally a candle holder until Liv comes back. They are going to throw her in bullshit until Liv comes back. That is all she's there for, because they want that they want that Liv versus Nikki story so fucking bad, just like they wanted Becky versus Lyra so bad. They made it. They're going to make us wait almost a fucking year to see it, even though we don't want to.
Unfortunately, Snug, I completely agree with you. That other person has to be Brie Bella. And I look at this like,
nobody wanted Nikki Bella back in the damn first place, let alone both of these girls. Nobody wants the damn Bella twins back. Absolutely no one wants this.
Why are they back in the first place? Why is Nikki Bella even here? Is it just so you could say, oh, I'm old as fuck, so I can just come in. I paved the way. Go away, Nikki Bella. No one wants you here, and that has been blatantly obvious since you came back. I have said that time and time and time again, and it stands nothing but true. Nobody wants Nikki Bella back, let alone her little twin Brie. That is my problem here. And unfortunately, Blood, you're right. They're going to wait and have us watch Nikki randomly do things until Liv Morgan comes back, because SmackDown is, especially with the women's division, heavily missing Liv Morgan since everything surrounded her. The point still stands. Everything in the women's division at this point has surrounded Liv Morgan.
Yes. The entire reason that Nikki is back is twofold. One, sex appeal. And two, they're having too hard of a time making newer stars out of the women currently on their main roster. So they've had to dig into their bag and dust people off the shelf to bring back. And that's why she's here.
Yeah, and it fucking sucks because now they're going to attach Rhea Ripley, one of their biggest fucking stars in the WWE.
A real wrestler.
Yeah, with Nikki Bella of all people. And I'm just like, see, man, I've been telling y'all, man, lately the stuff that they've been doing with Rhea Ripley, man, they're losing me.
The truth
and I'm
is,
afraid a lot of fans are gonna eventually feel the same way.
Bro, they're throwing Rhea into this because they're afraid people won't care enough. So they're throwing Rhea in because of how much people care about Rhea, to make this story matter more to people. And that's the truth. No one would give a fuck about this if it was just Nikki Bella and fucking the Kabuki Warriors. So like, we've got to keep Rhea in this story because then people will care more, because the guys are simping over Rhea and they have a sex crazed lust for Rhea, and all the girls out there love Rhea.
Yeah.
And look, and it's incorrect, by the way, to say that no one wants Nikki Bella back. You hear the reactions she gets. People do like seeing her. They enjoy seeing her. The problem is her being back. And I'll even go as far as to say this about AJ, and I love AJ. The problem with her being back, with AJ being back, when they bring Trish Stratus back, when now they might bring Brie Bella back, it all goes back to the same thing. They don't think their stars on their roster in the division as it stands are strong enough to hold that division together, so they keep digging back for stars of yesteryear to keep people entertained and caring more for the nostalgia factor of it. And though it's great to have AJ back, it's still the truth that stands. You don't think other stars on your roster have enough power to maintain your storylines, so you've got to dig for someone you know the audience cares about tenfold.
Yeah, I unfortunately saw a lot of grown-ass men in that arena cheering off the top of their fucking lungs to Nikki Bella, so there is a lot of people that really like Nikki Bella, but
I wonder why.
I don't know. Yeah, because it ain't her matches.
I got two very artificial reasons for you. And
it ain't her promos.
Character. It ain't her personality either.
Yeah, so all right, let's go to the main event, you guys. LA Knight versus Bronson Reed, and because it's division, you already know how this is going to go down. They're going to get involved. There's going to be interference. There's going to be shenanigans after the match, and it was a typical main event from Monday Night Raw that we've been seeing for the past few months with these guys, with the same people, with the same outcomes and the same finishes, except Jey Uso crashed out. And Jey Uso's been showing a different side of himself tonight on Monday Night Raw that Jimmy Uso even called him out. Like Tommy said, you're acting different. You're sounding different. You're starting to talk like Roman Reigns. And Jey Uso was like, yeah, maybe I need to start doing that more often because, being my old self hasn't really been working. So after the match, LA Knight got defeated by Bronson Reed. And then Braun Breaker jumped on LA Knight to continue to continue the attack after the bell. Jimmy Uso comes out because we all thought Jey Uso had left the arena already. Jimmy Uso gets cut off in a heartbeat by a big spear by Braun Breaker. And that's when Jey Uso comes out. And they clear the ring of the heels. Jimmy Uso, Jay, and LA Knight. Jimmy Uso and LA Knight are like, oh, thanks, bro. Thank you, man. Yeah, we're good now. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good. And then, bam, Jey Uso speared the fuck out of LA Knight. And I popped big for that because I was like, oh my God, we're about to get the best version of Jey Uso ever. This is what I want to see from the J-Man, the Yeet Man himself. The I don't give a fuck. Fuck everyone else. It's just me and my family, and everyone else can get these hands. I thought that was fucking great. But what did you guys think about this?
The match itself was really decent. Probably the only important match on the show. And again, we've been seeing this exact same finish to the ends of these Monday Night Raws for like 3 months now, since like right after Mania. And it was wearing on my patience a month ago. I'm getting real sick and tired of seeing it now. So to have that wrinkle of Jay being the one to be the babyface turning on another babyface, it's interesting as hell, but it makes me worry that they're going to turn Jay heel because I don't want him to be heel. He's too over. He sells way too much merch. The kids love him way too much to turn him heel. We just saw John Cena in the exact same type of position with Jay. He turned heel. It didn't go as smoothly as they had hoped. So they turned him back very quickly. The same thing with Jay. I don't think Jay works better as a heel. I think the only way Jay works better as a heel is when he's in a tag team with his brother and they're both heels. Uso Penitentiary heels. Bloodline heels. They do their best work as heels together. I don't think they have. We saw it with Jimmy too. When he was a heel on his own, it was shit. It was just horrifically embarrassing to watch shit. We say it with fucking Solo. Embarrassing comedy bullshit, heel shit. I don't want to see Jay go heel. And the sad thing is his personality, he's absorbing these traits of Roman Reigns. But here's the thing. He's absorbing the bad traits of a Roman Reigns that doesn't exist anymore. He's taking on the heel traits of a Roman that has since matured and gotten past that smash everybody, fuck everybody else but my family. I ain't hating, I ain't helping no one. Screw you, screw this. Roman, in the last year since turning face, has come out and literally helped Cody Rhodes, helped John Cena, helped CM Punk. Like even if it was for some of those reasons were just because he wanted to get back, he didn't just blatantly attack those guys for no reason. In fact, the only person he really attacked for no reason out of nowhere was CM Punk. And that was because of what happened at Royal Rumble. Other than that, Jay is taking on the traits of a Roman that isn't really that Roman anymore. He has some of those quirks Roman still, but he's not as selfish as he was, as into himself as he was. Because if that was the case, he would never run out there in the bloodline. He didn't ever run out there and save his family from getting their ass whooped. He sat on his hands and let them handle the shit for him. So I think this adds a wrinkle in a good way. As we lead towards War Games, I want to see how Jay snaps out of this.
If there's one thing we have learned about main event Jey Uso, it's fuck with his family, find out. And that's exactly what happened with Braun, the Bronzos. But unfortunately, once again, we come across the problem of, I get it, Jay. you're still pissed at LA Knight for what happened with the main event scene with the World Heavyweight title. I get that. But the problem is, as LA Knight has stated multiple times over, you stopped him. The entire reason with that fatal four-way that all you had to do was take Rollins out of the equation. And the biggest issue is Jay stopped that from happening so many times. And that's the biggest issue here, is Jay is pissed off at LA Knight for something he should not be pissed off at him about. Because it was Jay that stopped it. It was Jay that screwed himself over out of the World Heavyweight title. It wasn't LA Knight. So I look at all of this. I'm like, okay, great. This is going to be a thing. It was interesting to finally see Jay go, hey, I'm going to spear you now because I don't give a fuck. You're not part of my family right now. So I don't trust you. Which does make sense knowing the advice that Roman himself has given Jay. But we will end up seeing how in the world this goes down at Wrestlepalooza.
Well, yeah, that was the Monday Night Raw for this week, September 8th in Milwaukee. God damn, that shit felt like it took forever. So fuck this, Mr. Blood. Take us home. Let's get out of here.
That's going to wrap it up for this episode of Snug Wrestling. Thanks for kicking it with us. As always, we appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. Don't forget, we're live every Monday and Friday night right after Raw and SmackDown go off the air on YouTube, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, and Facebook for live post-show reviews. And as a bonus for reaction content during the weekly WWE broadcasts on all of our socials. Then hang out with us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Pacific on TikTok Live, where myself, Mr. Blood, and the leader of Snug Wrestling, Edgar, that handsome Mexican over there, do our weekly one-on-ones where we dive into random wrestling topics and answer your questions. So, follow Snug Wrestling on all social media platforms, as well as on Apple and Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. And mark your calendars. We are doing predictions for Wrestlepalooza on Wednesday, the 17th of September, prior to the event on September 20th. Until next time, stay safe, stay savage, and stay snug. And because our boy Toxic is on a little bit of a break from the podcast, that was one time for the one time. That was 4 letters.
4 letters.
1 word.
1 word.
Yeet.
Yeet.